All right, let's get it rolling with the conference producing two monster matchups for us this weekend. We'll hit the East Showdown later in the show, but first, the battle for the West. 6th-ranked Alabama and 10th-ranked LSU. Both of these teams are rested, coming off a bye, and have had plenty of time to game plan for this one. And the same probably goes for our two team site reporters. Hopefully nice and rested after that bye. Ready to break down this game, guys. It's Travis Reier from Bama Online and Sonny Shipp from Go 24/7. All right, the Tide have won 10 of the last 11 in this series. Nick Saban 2-0 versus Brian Kelly, but it's Kelly's first game in this Alabama-LSU rivalry. So, Sonny, how big is this one for the head coach?
Well, it's big, and especially when you go back and you look at the LSU-Alabama series over the years, it's been so one-sided in Baton Rouge, which is one of the things that fans on both sides always looked at with this series. But since 2006, LSU has won only once in Baton Rouge. So to be able to get that opportunity to do so, and if Brian Kelly could pull that, could pull out a W on Saturday, that'd be a major feather in his cap for going into into a matchup like you mentioned, where he's 0-2 against Nick Saban. So the competitor to Brian Kelly is, he has this one circled because this has just big game matchup written all over it.
Well, certainly on the other side of the ball for Alabama, the mental part is having to go on the road to Death Valley. It's a tough place to play. So as they prep this week, how much have they emphasized just the importance of handling that tough road environment?
Yeah, they've had their struggles on the road, really going back to last season. And, it's been a situation that inconsistency really on both sides of the ball and even special teams in their latest road trip to Tennessee. Emily, it was in all three phases where Alabama opened the door for Tennessee to do a lot of what the Volunteers were able to accomplish in that matchup. Credit to Tennessee, so explosive on offense. So Alabama has some things to clean up, and I think it starts on defense. That's been a real centerpiece to Alabama's success down in Baton Rouge and really in this series in general under Nick Saban. And they have some questions to answer after that performance in Knoxville, and I think we'll see LSU try to incorporate some of those same aspects of offensive football that we saw from the Vols, whether it's with those talented wide receivers or certainly a quarterback in Jaden Daniels that can hurt you both with his arm and his legs.
All right, time to talk some quarterbacks, and this graphic we're about to show you might be a little shocking. Let's compare the production of Jaden Daniels and Bryce Young. Very similar in yards per game, just a decimal off, both with 21 touchdowns, and Daniels with a slight edge in turnovers. Again, to those not paying attention to what Daniels has done lately, might be a little surprised, but Sonny, how much growth have you seen from the transfer QB?
Well, he's shown a lot of growth, and especially over the last 10 quarters of football. You go back to the second half of the Tennessee game, you look at Florida, you look at Ole Miss. He's starting to trust himself more in the offense. He's starting to trust the players around him. You see him throwing up the 50-50 balls, giving those athletic playmakers LSU has on the outside, giving them opportunities to make a play. Even if they can't make a play, they can possibly draw a pass interference flag. That was something that was missing early on and even in towards the middle part of the season. But now that light has come on, and that light for Jaden Daniels is shining as bright as it ever has in Baton Rouge, probably even when you go back to his days at Arizona State.
Yeah, you're looking at the comparison right now. Meanwhile, Travis, the standard is understandably higher for Bryce Young after a Heisman-winning season. But what have you seen from him maybe this year compared to last?
More of the same. I think there's this narrative out there that he's had his struggles in some form or fashion. He's not been healthy over the last 3 games or so, but you can look at the Tennessee performance. I could make a strong case that's as good as Bryce Young's ever been in his time in Tuscaloosa, and more so because he elevated the play of everyone around him in a way that we hadn't seen. Because even last year you had guys like Jamison Williams and John Mechie. Well, right now he's working with a cast of wide receivers, while talented, really hasn't been one of those guys, or let alone 2 of those guys who have emerged as top playmakers on the outside. So I think Bryce has been even better than he was a year ago.
I like it. All right, finally, guys, games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage. So how do you see the matchup in the trenches playing out for both sides? Sonny, kick us off.
Well, I think that's a huge part of this game, and for LSU, they're going to have to incorporate some 6 and some 7-man protections to help Jaden Daniels out and to help out that young offensive line. You've got a true freshman starting on both of the on both ends of that line, and so it's going to be key to give them some extra help. And then on the flip side of the ball, LSU's defensive linemen, they've got to be able to tackle Bryce Young. He's going to create some time in the pocket. He's going to move side to side. He's going to step up. When they get an opportunity to bring him down, they have to bring him down to create those negative plays to put Bama in some of those long down and distance situations.
Yeah, I think for Alabama, it's an interesting proposition in terms of how it will approach Jaden Daniels in the pass rush because he is so dangerous with his legs. If you're overly aggressive, he will make you pay for that. So even with guys like Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, an interesting aspect of this will be how Alabama goes about it in terms of aggressiveness with Jaden Daniels. And I think conversely for Alabama in pass protection, you've got a couple of capable of tackles and Tyler Steen and also an emerging J.C. Latham on the other side. But LSU's like Alabama. It can get 2 or 3 different edge guys involved in its pass rush packages. So can put some pressure on you in terms of the number of talented pass rushers the Tigers can get on the field.
Awesome. I am so excited for this matchup, and you guys got me a lot more thrilled. Keep it locked in to Go 24/7 and Bama Online for all things LSU and Alabama all season long. And our betting expert will pick this game later in the show, so stick around for that.